Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bob Dylan deep dive. Exciting. It's firing through these. Of course, we just got out of his major trilogy with Blonde on Blonde last time out, and now into a completely new era of Dylan. John Wesley Harding is the next album, and this is an album I've had a very tricky time with. I think obviously a big part of it I mentioned in the last video. If you haven't watched the Blonde on Blonde video, go check it out. There's a playlist of all the videos in this series on the channel, so catch up. Yeah, I've had a tricky time with this album, probably because it came after Blonde on Blonde, which, as you will know from that video, is probably my favorite Bob Dylan album. I gave it like a 4 out of 10 on my first listen. And I think also at that point, I was massively influenced by being a little bit burnt out on Bob Dylan. So it was very good for me to be able to come back to this with an open mind, with a fresh perspective. Most of these songs I didn't really remember because it was a couple of years ago where I listened to it and it didn't really have much of an impression on me. So what did I think? The opening title track, pretty fun way to start, more mellow sound than the albums before, but I like the nice full band arrangement all the same. As I Went Out One Morning, I think is pleasant. I don't quite get the hype for that one that some people give it. I Dreamed I Saw St. Augustine, similar story. In fact, I like it less than As I Went Out One Morning. It's not that engaging to me. Of course, you then get All Along the Watchtower, one of his most well-known songs. Dylan's version has definitely grown on me, even if I do think it does pale in comparison to Jimi Hendrix's, as everybody thinks that, probably, most people at least. And then, yeah, you know, the album just doesn't grab me, I've got to be honest, for most of its runtime. The Ballad of Frankie Lee and Judas Priest, to me, is not one of his more compelling story songs. I don't particularly enjoy his vocal performance on it, which is actually fairly rare for me with Dylan. I'm usually fine with his vocals. There's a real sameness to the songs, which doesn't work for me. I honestly think Dylan sounds pretty uninterested. Like the song like Drifter's Escape just feels so nondescript to me. But there is some good stuff. Of course, I like the title track. I do really like Dear Landlord. It's a pretty cool, almost soulful track, which is a cool change of direction for Dylan. Almost sounds like it was written for someone like Nina Simone. Of course, it was covered by some soul artists as well, which is pretty cool. I'm a Lonesome Hobo, though, is another nondescript, pretty uneventful song. He's doing a lot of these like character studies on this album, and I don't know. I don't think these are his best lyrics. They're not that engaging, and then the music is very repetitive. I find that each song is sort of interchangeable in terms of arrangement to the last. I Pity the Poor Immigrant does have some better lyrical moments. It's not top shelf Dylan, but it's pretty good. And then you get my least favorite song on the album, which is The Wicked Messenger, which is one of the biggest offenders in terms of the harmonica, which I haven't really mentioned yet, but the harmonica is so loud on this album. Either the mixing was just completely messed up, whatever happened, it's just so loud, it's ear piercing. And I was listening on headphones, and that song was where I was like, Jesus, I had to just take an ear off just for a couple seconds. It's not that great a song, but the harmonica really, the recording is just really bad. However, all that said, negative, mostly negative, few songs I did like. My favorite song is the closing track, I'll Be Your Baby Tonight. Really nice way to end the album. The harmonica is much quieter on that song, which I should clarify. I do usually love Dylan's harmonica, but it doesn't sound good on this album. But I'll Be Your Baby Tonight, lovely. Pedal steel's beautiful. It's so soft and just fantastic. One of Dylan's better sort of country efforts. So yeah, there are some great songs here, but I really don't think it holds together as a full listen. It's really lackluster after what came before. Some of the production and mixing choices tank some of these songs. It is an unpleasant listen at times, but the session musicians are fantastic. There's some great bass lines throughout the album. and you get some really great songs. So I'm going to go 6 out of 10. I think it's definitely not a 4. That was definitely harsh, but I think it was sort of coming back to me what I was thinking about the album, and it's good that I've re-listened to it and I can put it into words. Here are the track scores, as per usual. Um, as I mentioned at the bottom is The Wicked Messenger, but I also have Down Along the Curve, I Am a Lonesome Hobo, and Drifter's Escape also as a 5 out of 10. And my favorite, of course, I'll Be Your Baby Tonight as a 9. So let me know what you think of John Wesley Harding. This is where I'm going to rank it in the discography. And unfortunately, it does go in last, just because although the self-titled album doesn't have a song as good as I'll Be Your Baby Tonight, I think it was a more pleasant, straight-through listen, for sure. It's got a nice vibe, that album. So it lands at number 8, John Wesley Harding, 6 out of 10. We'll see how long it takes for something else to take its place at the bottom. I'm sure something in the 70s will. But yeah, next up is going to be Nashville Skyline. Make sure you come back next week for that. I'm looking forward to re-listening to that one. That is now my do have fond memories of listening to. And yeah, let me know what you think of John Wesley Harding, and hopefully I will catch you soon.